Ladies, have you ever wondered what truly makes a man tick? While men often appear strong, confident, and in control, the truth is they have weaknesses just like everyone else. And understanding these vulnerabilities isn't about creating stronger, healthier, and more meaningful connections. In this speech, we'll uncover the top 10 male weaknesses that every woman should know. By recognizing these, you can communicate better, build deeper relationships, and even inspire the man in your life to become his best self. Whether in love, friendship, or daily interactions, knowledge is power. And today I'm handing that power over to you. So are you ready to decode the male mind? Let's dive in. Men by nature are often conditioned to associate their self-worth with their achievements, abilities, and how they are perceived by others. This conditioning starts early in life, where boys are often encouraged to be strong, independent, and confident. As they grow, their sense of self begins to intertwine with their accomplishments, social standing, and the level of respect they receive. This creates a deeply rooted need for validation, making their ego highly sensitive to praise, criticism, and the opinions of those around them. One of the most defining aspects of ego sensitivity in men is the way they respond to acknowledgement and admiration. A man who feels respected and valued tends to be more open, confident, and engaged in his relationships, whether personal or professional. Compliments about his intelligence, abilities, or leadership skills can significantly boost his self-esteem. On the other hand, a lack of recognition or perceived disrespect can cause him to withdraw, become defensive, or even act out in frustration. In relationships, this sensitivity often plays out in the way men interpret their partner's words and actions. A seemingly harmless remark about his decision-making, capabilities, or success can be taken as a direct hit to his ego. This is why men often appreciate encouragement over criticism, even when constructive feedback is necessary. For example, if a woman says, "Why do you always forget to take care of things on time?" it might trigger a defensive response. However, if the same concern is expressed as, "I really appreciate it when you handle things quickly," it makes a huge difference. It acknowledges his efforts while subtly encouraging a change in behavior. Men also tend to associate their ego with their ability to provide and protect. This is why financial success, career growth, and social recognition are often major aspects of their self-worth. If a man feels that he is not excelling in these areas, his ego may take a hit, leading to self-doubt, frustration, or even withdrawal from those around him. This sensitivity explains why men who face financial difficulties or career setbacks often struggle with their confidence and may become more irritable or distant. Another important factor that influences ego sensitivity is competition. From sports to career ambitions, men often compare themselves to others and measure their worth based on how they rank. This competitive nature can be seen in the workplace, social settings, and even in personal relationships. A man who feels like he is falling behind in any aspect of life may experience insecurity, even if he does not openly express it. This is why celebrating his wins, no matter how small, can have a positive impact on his self-esteem. Criticism, when not delivered thoughtfully, can be one of the biggest triggers for a man's ego. Many men struggle with accepting criticism, even when it is well-intended, because it challenges their sense of competence. This is particularly evident in areas where they take pride in their abilities, such as their work, problem-solving skills, or leadership. If a man feels like his efforts are being dismissed or undervalued, he may react with defensiveness, withdrawal, or even hostility. Understanding this sensitivity is crucial in communication. Instead of directly pointing out flaws or mistakes, reframing the conversation to highlight strengths while suggesting improvements can be more effective. For example, rather than saying, "You never listen to me," a more ego-friendly approach would be, "I love it when you really pay attention to what I say. It makes me feel so valued." This approach not only conveys the message, but also reinforces a positive self-image, making the man more receptive to change. In romantic relationships, men's ego sensitivity also influences the way they handle emotional expression. Many men are raised with the belief that showing vulnerability is a sign of weakness. As a result, they often suppress emotions or struggle to communicate their true feelings. This suppression does not mean they do not feel deeply. Rather, they may fear that expressing emotions will make them appear weak or less capable. This is why a supportive and non-judgmental approach is essential when encouraging a man to open up emotionally. One of the key ways ego sensitivity affects relationships is through the concept of respect. While love is an important component, many men place an equally strong emphasis on feeling respected by their partner. This is evident in how they respond to tone and wording during conversations. A man who feels disrespected may not respond well, even if the issue being discussed is valid. This is why communication that conveys admiration and respect, even in difficult discussions, can make a significant difference. Men's ego sensitivity also plays a major role in their interactions with peers and authority figures. In professional settings, recognition and acknowledgement from colleagues or superiors can be a driving force behind their motivation and confidence. A man who feels overlooked or underappreciated in his career may experience self-doubt or frustration, even if he does not vocalize it. This is why many men strive for positions of leadership, not just for the status, but for the validation that comes with it. This need for validation can also extend to friendships and social circles. Men often seek approval and admiration from their peers, whether through achievements, skills, or social status. This is why they may engage in competitive behavior, whether in sports, career advancement, or even casual debate. A man who feels respected among his friends is likely to be more confident and secure, while one who feels overshadowed may experience feelings of inadequacy. Another area where ego sensitivity is evident is in decision-making. Many men take great pride in their ability to make decisions, whether in their personal or professional lives. When their decisions are questioned or overruled, it can feel like a direct challenge to their competence. This is why men often appreciate when their input is valued, even if a final decision is made collaboratively. Rather than dismissing their suggestions, acknowledging their perspective and working towards a mutual decision can be more effective. The impact of ego sensitivity can also be seen in conflict resolution. Many men struggle with admitting when they are wrong, not because they lack self-awareness, but because acknowledging a mistake can feel like a blow to their self-worth. This is why they may become defensive or avoid conflict altogether. A more constructive approach is to create an environment where admitting faults is seen as a strength rather than a weakness. Encouraging open conversations without judgment can make a man more willing to accept responsibility and grow from the experience. Ego sensitivity also influences how men perceive physical and emotional intimacy. A man who feels desired and appreciated by his partner is likely to be more engaged and affectionate. Compliments, reassurance, and small gestures of appreciation can reinforce his confidence and deepen emotional connection. On the other hand, if he feels neglected or unappreciated, it can lead to feelings of inadequacy and emotional distance. This sensitivity is further amplified by societal expectation. Men are often pressured to embody traits like strength, independence, and dominance. Any sign of failure or weakness can feel like a personal defeat. This is why they may hesitate to seek help, whether for personal struggles, mental health, or career challenges. Encouraging a supportive and understanding approach can make a significant difference in how they navigate these struggles. Ego sensitivity is not about fragility, but rather about the deep-seated need for respect, appreciation, and validation. Men, like anyone else, seek reassurance that their efforts, abilities, and presence are valued. Understanding this fundamental aspect of their psychology can transform the way women communicate, support, and build stronger connections with them. Men are often conditioned from an early age to suppress their emotions and avoid displaying vulnerability. Society has long associated masculinity with strength, independence, and resilience, creating an environment where expressing emotions is often seen as a sign of weakness. From childhood, boys are told to man up, stop crying, or be strong, reinforcing the idea that emotional expression is something to be avoided. As they grow older, this conditioning becomes deeply ingrained, affecting their ability to communicate openly about their feelings, struggles, and fears. This emotional suppression does not mean that men do not feel deeply. Rather, it means that they struggle to express those emotions in a way that feels safe and acceptable. Many men experience sadness, anxiety, stress, and insecurities just as intensely as women, but they often lack the tools or social support to process and articulate these emotions. Instead of talking about their feelings, they may resort to avoidance, distraction, or even aggression as a way to cope. This is why some men may withdraw from conversations, bury themselves in work, or engage in risky behaviors when dealing with emotional distress. One of the most significant consequences of emotional suppression is difficulty in relationships. Many women expect emotional openness and vulnerability from their partners as a way to build deeper connections. However, when a man has been conditioned to suppress his emotions, he may struggle to meet this expectation. He may avoid difficult conversations, shut down emotionally, or respond with frustration when asked to express his feelings. This can create misunderstandings and emotional distance in relationships, leaving both partners feeling unheard and disconnected. A common challenge in relationships is when a woman asks a man about his feelings and he responds with phrases like, "I'm fine, it's nothing," or "I don't want to talk about it." This is not because he lacks emotions, but because he has been conditioned to believe that discussing them is either unnecessary or unhelpful. Many men fear that opening up will make them appear weak or that their emotions will not be understood. They may also feel pressure to maintain an image of strength and control, which makes admitting struggles difficult. Another reason why men suppress their emotions is a lack of experience in articulating them. Unlike women, who are often encouraged to talk about their feelings and seek support from friends and family, men may not have had many opportunities to practice emotional expression. As a result, they may not know how to put their feelings into words, leading to frustration and withdrawal. This lack of practice can make emotional conversations feel overwhelming or uncomfortable, further reinforcing the habit of emotional suppression. Emotional suppression can also have a significant impact on mental health. When emotions are bottled up instead of being processed, they do not simply disappear. Instead, they can manifest in other ways, such as stress, irritability, anxiety, or even physical symptoms like headaches, muscle tension, and fatigue. Many men struggle with undiagnosed mental health issues because they are reluctant to seek help or acknowledge their emotional struggles. This can lead to chronic stress, burnout, or even depression, which may go unnoticed by those around them. In extreme cases, emotional suppression can contribute to unhealthy coping mechanisms. Some men turn to alcohol, drugs, excessive work, or reckless behavior as a way to numb emotions they do not know how to process. Others may develop anger issues, using frustration and aggression as an outlet for suppressed feelings. This is why understanding and addressing emotional suppression is not just important for relationships, but also for overall well-being and mental health. One of the biggest challenges men face in expressing emotions is the fear of judgment. Many men worry that if they open up, they will be seen as weak, overly sensitive, or incapable of handling life's challenges. This fear is often reinforced by social norms, peer expectations, and even media portrayals of masculinity. In many cultures, men are expected to be providers and protectors, which can make admitting vulnerability feel like a failure. Even among close friends, men may hesitate to discuss personal struggles because they do not want to be perceived as less capable or strong. Another aspect of emotional suppression is difficulty in processing grief and loss. Many men struggle to cope with emotional pain in a healthy way because they have been taught to suppress sadness and vulnerability. When faced with loss, whether it is the death of a loved one, the end of a relationship, or a major life setback, they may try to distract themselves rather than allowing themselves to grieve. This can lead to unresolved emotions that linger for years, affecting their ability to move forward and build new emotional connections. Emotional suppression also affects how men handle conflict. Since they are often uncomfortable with expressing vulnerability, they may struggle to communicate their needs and feelings during disagreements. Some men respond to conflict with avoidance, shutting down or withdrawing instead of engaging in discussion. Others may react with defensiveness or anger because frustration is often the only emotion they feel comfortable expressing. This can create a cycle where problems remain unresolved, leading to deeper issues in relationships. In the workplace, emotional suppression can manifest in different ways. Many men feel pressure to appear composed, confident, and unaffected by stress, even in high-pressure situations. They may avoid seeking support or admitting when they are struggling with workload, fearing that it will make them appear incompetent. This can lead to burnout, increased stress levels, and difficulty in maintaining a healthy work-life balance. Some men also struggle with workplace relationships because they are not comfortable discussing personal challenges or forming deep emotional connections with colleagues. Another effect of emotional suppression is difficulty in expressing affection and appreciation. Some men struggle to verbalize their feelings even when they deeply care about someone. Instead of saying, "I love you," or expressing gratitude verbally, they may show affection through actions, such as providing support, giving gifts, or performing acts of service. However, when their partner expects verbal affirmation, this difference in communication styles can create misunderstandings. Emotional suppression can also impact fatherhood. Many men who grew up in environments where emotions were not openly expressed may find it difficult to connect emotionally with their children. They may struggle to express love, offer emotional support, or have deep conversations about feelings. This can create emotional distance between fathers and their children, continuing the cycle of emotional suppression across generations. Some men try to compensate for emotional suppression by adopting a persona of humor or indifference. They may use jokes to deflect serious conversations, downplay their emotions, or pretend that nothing affects them. While humor can be a coping mechanism, it can also prevent them from addressing their emotions in a meaningful way. Over time, constantly suppressing emotions can lead to a sense of emotional numbness, where they struggle to feel joy, sadness, or deep emotional connections. Another major challenge is that emotional suppression can create difficulties in personal growth and self-awareness. When emotions are ignored or pushed aside, it becomes harder to understand personal needs, values, and desires. Many men may go through life feeling unfulfilled or disconnected without realizing that their suppressed emotions are playing a role. This lack of emotional awareness can also make it harder for them to support others, as they may struggle to empathize with emotions they have not processed within themselves. Encouraging men to express their emotions in a healthy way requires patience, understanding, and a safe environment. Many men need reassurance that opening up will not make them less respected or valued. Small, consistent efforts to create a judgment-free space for emotional expression can make a significant difference. Simple gestures like listening without offering solutions, validating emotions without minimizing them, and encouraging honest conversations can help break the cycle of emotional suppression. When men feel safe enough to express their emotions without fear of judgment or rejection, they can experience deeper connections, improved mental health, and greater self-awareness. Emotional expression is not about weakness, it is about authenticity, personal growth, and the ability to build meaningful relationships. Understanding and addressing emotional suppression is essential for men to develop healthier relationships, improve their well-being, and break free from the societal expectations that have long dictated how they should express their emotions. Men have an inherent need for validation, deeply ingrained in their psychology and reinforced by societal expectations. From a young age, they are conditioned to seek approval based on their achievements, abilities, and contributions. Unlike women, who often find validation through emotional connections and relationships, men tend to derive their sense of self-worth from external accomplishments and recognition. This need for validation plays a significant role in shaping their behavior, decision-making, and overall confidence. One of the primary sources of validation for men comes from their professional lives. A man's career, financial success, and social status are often closely tied to his self-esteem. Society places immense pressure on men to be providers and achievers, making their professional accomplishments a critical measure of their worth. When a man excels in his career, receives promotions, or gains respect in his field, he feels validated and confident. Conversely, if he experiences setbacks, job loss, or financial struggles, it can deeply impact his self-worth, leading to feelings of inadequacy and self-doubt. In relationships, men also seek validation from their partners, though often in different ways than women do. Many men feel most validated when they are appreciated for their efforts, intelligence, and ability to provide. Compliments, words of affirmation, and expressions of gratitude reinforce their belief that they are valued and needed. When a man feels respected and admired by his partner, he is more likely to be emotionally open and engaged in the relationship. However, when he perceives a lack of appreciation or constant criticism, he may withdraw, become defensive, or struggle with feelings of inadequacy. Men also seek validation through their physical abilities and strength, whether through sports, fitness, or simply being perceived as capable. Many men take pride in their physical performance. This is why compliments about their strength, endurance, or physical presence can be incredibly meaningful to them. On the other hand, if they feel weak, out of shape, or incapable of protecting their loved ones, it can take a toll on their confidence. The societal expectation for men to be strong and resilient makes physical validation a crucial aspect of their self-esteem. Another major area where men crave validation is in problem solving and decision making. Many men see themselves as problem solvers and take pride in their ability to provide solutions. When their opinions, advice, or decisions are acknowledged and valued, they feel a strong sense of purpose. However, when their input is dismissed, ignored, or overruled without consideration, they may feel unimportant or disrespected. This is why men often respond positively when their ideas are recognized, even if they are not always implemented. Simply acknowledging their perspective can make them feel heard and validated. Social validation is another key factor in a man's self-esteem. Men often seek approval from their peers, colleagues, and social circles. Whether through accomplishments, humor, leadership, or skills, they want to be recognized and respected within their group. This need for social validation can be seen in the way men engage in friendly competition, strive for leadership positions, or seek recognition for their achievement. A man who feels valued by his peers tends to be more confident and secure, whereas one who feels overlooked or dismissed may experience self-doubt and frustration. One of the more subtle but deeply ingrained aspects of male validation is the need to be seen as competent and capable. Men often fear failure because it threatens their sense of self-worth. This is why many men are hesitant to take on tasks they are unsure about or avoid situations where they might fail publicly. When a man succeeds, he receives validation that he is capable, intelligent, and skilled. When he fails, he may internalize it as a personal flaw rather than a learning experience. This is why offering encouragement and emphasizing effort rather than just results can help reinforce a man's confidence. In romantic relationships, the way a woman communicates can significantly impact a man's sense of validation. Men are highly sensitive to how they are spoken to and whether they feel respected in conversations. A dismissive tone, sarcastic remarks, or overly critical feedback can make a man feel devalued, even if that was not the intention. On the other hand, using words of encouragement, showing appreciation for his efforts, and recognizing his strengths can boost his confidence and emotional connection in the relationship. Many men also seek validation through their role as protectors. Whether it is providing financial security, offering emotional support, or physically protecting their loved ones, men feel validated when they are needed and relied upon. This is why a simple acknowledgement of their efforts to provide or protect can mean a great deal. When a man feels like he is failing in this role, it can deeply affect his self-esteem, making him feel unworthy Another critical factor in male validation is the desire to be admired for their skills and talents. Whether it is a hobby, professional expertise, or a personal passion, men take great pride in their abilities. When others recognize and appreciate their talents, they feel a sense of accomplishment and fulfillment. This is why many men enjoy demonstrating their skills, whether in sports, music, technology, or other areas. A lack of recognition for their talents can make them feel invisible or unimportant. Male validation is also closely linked to intimacy and attraction. Men feel validated when they are desired by their partners. Compliments about their appearance, charm, or masculinity can significantly boost their confidence. When a man feels physically and emotionally attractive to his partner, he is more likely to be secure and engaged in the relationship. However, if he feels ignored, unattractive, or rejected, it can deeply affect his self-esteem. This is why expressing admiration, both verbally and through actions, can strengthen a man's confidence and emotional connection. The way men handle challenges and obstacles is also tied to their need for validation. Many men take pride in their resilience and ability to overcome difficulties. When they succeed, they receive validation that reinforces their strength and capability. However, when they struggle or face setbacks, they may feel like they are failing in their role. Encouraging them, recognizing their efforts, and providing support without undermining their independence can help reinforce their confidence and motivation. A man's need for validation also extends to fatherhood. Many fathers seek validation in their role as providers, mentors, and protectors. They want to be seen as good role models and respected figures in their children's lives. When a father feels appreciated by his children and recognized for his efforts, it strengthens his sense of purpose. However, if he feels unrecognized or taken for granted, it can create feelings of inadequacy and emotional distance. This is why acknowledging and appreciating a man's role as a father can have a profound impact on his confidence and well-being. Validation also plays a role in how men interact with authority figures. Whether it is a boss, mentor, or elder, men often seek approval from those they respect. Positive reinforcement from an authority figure can significantly boost a man's confidence and motivation, however. Consistent criticism or a lack of recognition can lead to feelings of frustration, resentment, or self-doubt. This is why leadership styles that balance constructive feedback with encouragement tend to be the most effective in motivating men. One of the most overlooked aspects of male validation is the need for emotional reassurance. Although men may not openly express it, they appreciate being told that they are valued, loved, and appreciated. Simple gestures such as saying, "I'm proud of you, I appreciate everything you do," or "You're important to me," can have a significant impact on a man's emotional well-being. While many men do not actively seek out emotional validation, receiving it unexpectedly can strengthen their confidence and deepen their connections with others. Men's need for validation is not about ego or insecurity. It is a fundamental aspect of human psychology. They seek recognition for their efforts, appreciation for their strengths, and reassurance that they are valued in their relationships, careers, and social circles. Understanding this need can transform the way women communicate, support, and build stronger connections with the men in their lives. Whether through words, actions, or small gestures, validation has the power to shape a man's confidence, emotional well-being, and overall sense of fulfillment. Men have a deep-seated fear of failure that influences many aspects of their lives, from their careers to their relationships and personal aspirations. This fear is not just about losing or making mistakes. It is tied to their sense of identity, self-worth, and societal expectations. From an early age, boys are taught that success is a measure of their value, and as they grow, this belief becomes a core part of their psychology. Society places an immense burden on men to be achievers, providers, and leaders, and failing in any of these areas can lead to feelings of inadequacy, shame, and self-doubt. One of the most significant areas where the fear of failure manifests is in a man's professional life. Men are often judged based on their career success, financial stability, and ability to provide for themselves and their families. This creates a constant pressure to perform, excel, and prove their worth in the workplace. When they struggle to meet expectations, whether through job loss, financial difficulties, or career setbacks, they often feel as if they have failed, not just professionally, but personally as well. Unlike women, who may seek emotional support during difficult times, many men internalize their struggles, believing that admitting failure would make them appear weak or The fear of failure also affects how men approach risks and new opportunities. While some men may take bold risks to prove themselves, others may avoid stepping outside their comfort zones for fear of falling short. This fear can prevent them from pursuing their dreams, starting new businesses, or making life-changing decisions. Instead of embracing challenges as opportunities for growth, they may become paralyzed by the thought of failing. This hesitation can lead to frustration, unfulfilled potential, and a lingering sense of regret over missed opportunities. In relationships, the fear of failure plays a significant role in how men interact with their partners. Many men see themselves as protectors and providers, and when they feel they are unable to fulfill these roles, it can deeply impact their confidence and emotional well-being. A man who believes he is failing as a partner may become withdrawn, defensive, or even emotionally distant. This fear can also make men hesitant to commit to relationships, as they worry about not being able to meet their partner's expectations or maintain long-term stability. The fear of failure is not limited to finances or career achievements. It also extends to emotional and social validation. Many men fear that they will not be able to live up to the expectations placed on them by their families, friends, or society at large. This can lead to a constant need for external approval, making them highly sensitive to criticism and rejection. When a man perceives that he is not meeting expectations, whether as a father, husband, or friend, it can create feelings of deep insecurity. This fear may cause him to overcompensate by working excessively, seeking validation through material success, or avoiding situations where his shortcomings may be exposed. Men also fear failure in their personal ambitions and self-improvement. Many men have goals they aspire to, whether in fitness, skill development, or personal projects. But the fear of not succeeding can prevent them from taking action. This is why some men start hobbies or set goals, but quickly abandon them when they encounter difficulties. The idea of struggling or not being immediately good at something can be discouraging, as they may associate their self-worth with their ability to succeed effortlessly. Instead of seeing failure as a natural part of growth, they may view it as a confirmation of their inadequacy. The pressure to succeed can also make men highly competitive. Many men compare themselves to others, whether in terms of career achievements, wealth, relationships, or physical appearance. Social media amplifies this fear by constantly exposing them to images of success, making them feel as if they are falling behind. This comparison can create anxiety and a relentless pursuit of success, often at the cost of their mental and emotional well-being. Instead of focusing on their own progress, they may feel pressure to meet unrealistic standards, leading to burnout and dissatisfaction. The fear of failure can also affect men's ability to handle setbacks. While some men respond to failure with resilience and determination, others may struggle to recover emotionally. A major setback, such as a failed business, a breakup, or a personal loss, can feel devastating, making them question their abilities and self-worth. Since many men are not taught how to process emotions in a healthy way, they may respond by suppressing their feelings, avoiding difficult conversations, or distracting themselves with work or other activities. Over time, unresolved feelings of failure can lead to chronic stress, anxiety, and even depression. One of the less obvious ways the fear of failure manifests is in perfectionism. Many men develop perfectionist tendencies as a way to avoid failure, believing that if they do everything perfectly, they will never experience setbacks. However, perfectionism can be exhausting and counterproductive. The fear of making mistakes can make them overly cautious, afraid to take risks, or constantly dissatisfied with their achievements. Even when they succeed, they may struggle to feel a sense of accomplishment, always fearing that their next failure is just around the corner. The fear of failure can also influence how men approach leadership and responsibility. Some men embrace leadership roles as a way to prove themselves, while others shy away from them due to self-doubt. The pressure to lead successfully can be overwhelming, especially when they feel they are being judged on their decisions and outcomes. A fear of making the wrong choice can lead to hesitation, indecision, and second-guessing, which can ultimately affect their ability to lead effectively. This fear can also prevent them from seeking help or delegating tasks, as they may believe that asking for support is a sign of weakness. This fear is often reinforced by societal expectations of masculinity. Many cultures emphasize that men should be strong, independent, and in control at all times. Admitting failure, seeking help, or showing vulnerability is often discouraged, making it difficult for men to navigate their fears in a healthy way. Instead of openly discussing their concerns, they may bottle up their emotions, leading to feelings of isolation and self-doubt. The lack of open conversations about failure can make it seem like every other man is succeeding effortlessly, further reinforcing the fear of falling short. The fear of failure also impacts fatherhood. Many men feel immense pressure to be good fathers, role models, and providers for their children. They want to ensure their children grow up with stability, guidance, and strong values. However, when they feel they are not meeting these expectations, whether due to work pressures, financial struggles, or personal challenges, they may experience deep feelings of guilt and inadequacy. The desire to be a perfect father can make it difficult for men to acknowledge their struggles or ask for support, leading to further stress and emotional strain. For some men, the fear of failure extends into their social interactions and friendships. They may worry about saying the wrong thing, not being respected by their peers, or being perceived as unsuccessful. This can lead to social anxiety, hesitation to form close relationships, or an overemphasis on status and achievements in conversations. The need to appear competent and in control at all times can make it difficult for them to form genuine, vulnerable connections with others. Fear of failure can also influence how men approach rejection, whether in dating, work, or personal endeavors. Many men take rejection personally, viewing it as a confirmation of their inadequacy rather than a normal part of life. This fear can make them hesitant to take chances, initiate conversations, or express their true feelings. Instead of seeing rejection as a learning experience, they may avoid situations where failure is a possibility, limiting their personal and professional growth. Ultimately, the fear of failure shapes many aspects of a man's life, from his career choices to his relationships and sense of self-worth. It is a powerful force that can either drive him to success or hold him back from reaching his full potential. Understanding this fear allows for better communication, support, and encouragement, helping men overcome the pressures they face and develop a healthier perspective